Hello, coaches. Welcome back to another Modern Soccer Coach Breakdown. This week, we're going to take a look at a topic that we've got a few requests for. We've got a few emails about, listen, can you do a video on this here? By the way, if you have any requests, I'll put a link below. Working with the back four, primarily with two centre backs and the relationship between stepping and dropping, how to get that relationship right, how to get that balance right, how to get the timing right of defensive units, of when to step, when to shift. So I'm going to work through that today. If you would like more back four work, you can download a free PDF. I'll put the link below in the comments. Also, if you want more in-depth resources, check out Modern Soccer Coach Insider. Plenty of content on there, members only content, alongside all the webinars to watch on demand. Modern Soccer Coach Insider link is below. Of course, please like and please make sure you subscribe. Here we go, managing the defensive line. Let's go. So about 5-10 years ago, this would be a fairly quick video. The rule was that if there was pressure on the ball, you dropped. If there wasn't pressure on the ball, you held your line. And this picture here would be almost an automatic. Player with time on the ball, back four in blue, would just start to drop. That has changed over the last 5 years in the game, particularly at the highest level. We're seeing this picture now where back fours, back threes, center defenders are now holding their line a little bit more. And I think there's two reasons for that. Number one is the game style has obviously changed, where teams are now more progressive with their possession. So they're playing shorter passes. They're not stepping now in this queue. Another reason for that is scouting reports, where opposition analysis has helped teams anticipate cues for playing vertical passes a little bit more. So now defenders are a little bit more aware of when that vertical pass is coming. And also defenders are getting better at anticipating with body shapes with how that vertical pass is going to be played. So they're reading the cues better. So that has changed how defenders at the elite level are perceiving this situation. Another factor that's worth taking into consideration is the fact that if you just drop when there is no pressure on the ball and you start to run back towards your own goal as a unit, as a defensive unit, and you make that recovery run back and protect that vertical space that quite rightly a lot of coaches or teams are worried about. So if you ultimately drop down and protect that vertical space, you also could be giving up a secondary space, which is the space in front of back fours. And as the game has evolved, the space in front of back fours can also become really, really dangerous. So you don't want to give up one dangerous position and create another one. So you ultimately have to manage the vertical space in behind, but you also have to then be really, really careful about that space in front of your back four as well. So how do you manage that? Well, I think a good idea of doing that is to use some markers on the pitch. And we always use the markers for in possession. You see them going vertical. I think horizontal markers are good. Pitch markings are good to give your defenders a little bit of control. So now if there is no pressure on the ball and ultimately there are attackers looking to run in behind, we'll come back to that in a second, then you would want your back four, back three initially closing those spaces in between and then dropping. Now you want them dropping about 10-15 yards and you want that recovery run from the midfielders. And sometimes that gets overlooked. Sometimes you look at this as just a back four exercise, but you actually need your midfielders and your forwards to put back pressure on the ball so that it slows down the transition or the attack or whatever it is you're looking to contain. And when they slow it down, then that can be the cue for the team, the defensive unit, to then step again. So a square pass or a backwards pass with those midfielders getting a shape underneath the ball means now that you can then step up again. So it's not just one run of drop, drop, drop. You're actually looking for recovery underneath from your midfielders. Then you're looking to contain, slow down the attack. Then once the attack is slowed down or even goes backwards, then you're actually getting out of that initial drop-in stage and you're stepping up again because you don't want to keep dropping and keep dropping and keep dropping and give up that vital territory. That then can potentially turn it into a pressing moment and you've actually flipped it defensively from a recovery stage to a pressing stage. Now, the game will naturally throw a lot of different pictures at you within a matter of seconds or minutes. So if it goes from a pressing stage, you might actually then have a goalkeeper who steps up with the ball, and then all of a sudden, your back four, your centre backs are then looking at a situation where they might need to drop again, particularly if it's at the senior level. And now again, the marker is 10, 15 yards, not just drop straight back. You're looking at managing the situation and getting compact as you drop. That's something that you're always looking to have. Be compact, not just dropping straight lines. Get narrow and compact as you drop. So now, if the ball comes from a goalkeeper, if it comes from a long pass and a second ball, and now all of a sudden the opponents have clear possession of the ball in your defensive third, then the principles of defending come into play where you want that pressure, cover, balance scenario as you have here. Your number three applying the pressure, your defensive line getting compact, but also having that balance underneath. Again, what's really, really important gets overlooked in defensive exercises is you need that midfield unit underneath to recover quite quickly and help apply pressure to move the attack backwards. And then as the attack is forced backwards from the opposition, then it's very, very important to get that defensive line out. So this is where the markers come in really handy. If you can get a pressure on the ball in that middle third, then all of a sudden you're looking at pushing them back. Now that is the marker to get up to that median in the halfway point of the half. And then if they go back another section, then all of a sudden that could be the marker to get up to the halfway line. So it's not just about dropping, it's actually part of the conversation has to be about stepping as well and about applying pressure to the ball. And when you into that conversation about stepping, you can then start to communicate when defenders can step into those spaces in the opposition half, which can create really, really promising moments in transition as well. So it's not just about stepping, it's about dropping, and it's about using the teammates to help create those scenarios to do that. Here are also three tips that I would say to look at when you're putting this into action. First is the relationship between the goalkeeper and the defensive line. If they have to drop, if the goalkeeper is reluctant at moving in these situations, you may have an issue. So video analysis is really, really good at looking at the distance between defenders and goalkeeper situations like this. Man City conceded towards the end of last season against Manchester United in this picture. You can see the distance is probably just a little bit too much at the elite level for the defensive line to manage that scenario. So going back, looking at the goalkeeper's position, another aspect that you might want to look at through analysis on the back end of games is the defensive posture, position, and when they're dropping. It's not just turning your shoulders and running a straight line. There's a specific technique of running backwards towards your own goal where your body shape is faced up so you can see the ball, see the opponent, see your goal. It's an overlooked technique. I would highly recommend you look at how your defenders are moving, running back, as those mechanics can make massive, massive difference to recovery speed, but also to seeing whether the ball's actually going to be played or not. So seeing the ball and seeing the runner and seeing the goal when you're running back, really, really important. And the last one, again, gets overlooked quite a bit, but I'd say to look at it when you're looking at the analysis is your defenders giving forwards a clear run underneath. You see teams a lot today from kickoff trying to obstruct runs, trying to slow down forwards, pressure on the goalkeeper. Same principle applies to these types of scenarios. Defenders positioning, getting their body in between the forwards running and then running alongside them can make it really, really difficult for the forward to get their mechanics of movement really, really accelerated. So little differences and details in how you recover can make a massive difference to how teams deal with this scenario. All right, coaches, thanks for watching this. I hope you enjoy. Please like, subscribe, and please have a look at the Insider for more of these types of breakdowns. Here's what the Insider is. So the Insider is fairly easy to navigate. We've put all the webinars we've done on Modern Soccer Coach throughout the years, and there are quite a few of them. We've put them in specific topic order. So you've got set pieces, you've got the tactical one, player development ones, and then we're going to put these bonus features, we're going to put them on the bonus content. So if you want to look at some of the content, you just click on it and all the resources are here. We'll also be putting up more on this. This is the new preseason program that we've built, so you get a free copy of that there when you register as well. So opportunity to watch the webinars, opportunity to catch up on tons and tons of content, and then we will keep uploading more on this football fitness preseason ideas. We've got a preseason webinar here as well.